We wanted the smoke, so let's bring the fire. We're igniting the drama and chaos. This is Matches and Mayhem, the Battle of the Era, Season 40.
All right. So, instant reactions. Raquel, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought, first of all, my question is, we spent 15 minutes with Derek dragging his leg through the mud, through this intense terrain, and then we don't hear about it again. So what happened to his leg? How did he all of a sudden get better?
You know, as a fellow old man here, sometimes them knees just be creaking and they nothing to do about it. And next day you wake up and, you know, you're all good. I don't know. It's just another way the challenge is keeping us on our toes. It's just another old man injury for Era 1. Hopefully he's got a couple of days to ice it and get back. But the fact that he thought his leg was broken and then I don't need a doctor. All right. That's a normal person's reaction, right?
That was wild to me. But this brings me to what really stands out in this episode. What is going on with Era 1? For many years, we've been on this bandwagon of like the OGs, the CTs, the Bananas, all of these great legends coming in. And I don't know, I think it's time to tell them, you know, everyone else is coming through and taking the throne. And this is not 2001 anymore. Some of y'all gotta retire.
What we're seeing here is like the last dance, like with Michael Jordan. We're celebrating our heroes. We're celebrating our legends. We're giving them their flowers while they can still smell them because it's not looking good. Time comes for everyone. On top of the physical performance, because they're going behind, they're all over the place with their strategy. When it comes one-on-one, no spoilers here. In the eliminations, Tina last week, Derek a few weeks ago, they can handle themselves. But in these team challenges, they got to get it together. It's rough out here.
A lot of what has carried them throughout all these seasons is being called the legend. That carries a lot of weight. And I think there's a lot of pressure this season, especially for them to perform well. That's part of what's making them struggle is too many huge egos in one space. And from the very first episode, we just saw that they don't work well together. It has a lot to do with them trying to maintain their status as legends. Their egos, a lot of them are like reliving their past. Almost every episode, someone goes back to something they did in early 2000s. And it's like, well, what are you doing now? What are you bringing to the table now? I think Rachel is one of the only ones that's coming in and really doing what she says she's going to do, which is kick ass. She's doing phenomenal.
Well, the way that the challenge is right now, it's harder for a legend to come in and say, don't throw me in, because with the targets, everybody's going in eventually. It doesn't matter. And if you don't win, it's not even by getting voted in with the status of legend. You're just going down because you can't win. That ain't helping them. With Era 1, it's more the challenges that are taking them down. But with every other era, it looks like it's going to be something internal that brings them down, which takes us to our second reaction of this episode. There's cracks in every single era. We see Laurel being kind of the odd woman out on her team. John A. and Corey are looking around like, I don't know, my era has my back. And then, beginning of the episode, Jenny is not happy with how it went down and how she got the target right back at her.
We're going to see more of that as more people go home and it starts to get a little bit more cutthroat. Eventually, true alliances are going to come out. There's going to be more folks that are going to be hitting that roadblock and trying to decide, when you have friendships across multiple eras, where does your loyalty really stand? And that's going to come out. With Josh, it's interesting because he's paying back people that he's sort of wronged many seasons ago. So he's doing a lot of payback right now, where I think it's taking away from some of the more powerful strategic moves that he could have made. It's never going to get you in the challenge if all you're doing is repaying someone back from a few seasons ago.
That fine line of, do I have my team's back or do I have my people's back? Because we're seeing that's two different things. And it really is coming out this episode. With Josh specifically, he makes a lot of nervous moves. I don't know if his decisions tonight, whether they're actually because he's trying to pay somebody back or because outside of his own team, he's trying to see the people who can have his back and won't throw the target back on him. That's the fine line that people are playing. John A's team, we're all taking turns. But at the end of the day, it looks like she could be the odd woman out on that team. She didn't have a lot of friends there. Her friends, it's a little weird. Derek's on Era 2. They were on the same season in the real world. It's dicey.
Yeah, Yeah, it is.
In the coming weeks, it's going to be interesting. Do people take the side of their team, or is it smarter to take the side of the people outside of your team, your relationships outside of your own era, so that they don't throw targets on your back? Because we're still seeing a lot of volunteering, and no one's really taking the initiative to say, I'm going to put the target on the person that is the strongest on the other team to see if they can get their chance to go down elimination. But
most people, not everyone, most people, because we saw, well, no spoilers, but some people could have volunteered that didn't. So a lot of them are trying to be this noble martyr type player to like nominate themselves to go in. And then players that could nominate a target are not doing so because they also don't want the target to come back to them. So this is where I need more folks making bigger strategic moves. One, it just makes it way more interesting. As a viewer, it would make it more fun to watch. I would have liked that option to not exist, having people just volunteer themselves as targets.
It's down to the challengers. And Johnny says it best. He said it before. He'll say it again. Where does nobility get you in this game? Nowhere. Yeah, everyone's playing a noble game. I'll take my turn. It's not the move. But speaking of Johnny, I think the last thing we got to react to is Rivals coming back alive in a kind of weird way. But Devin and Johnny got into it this episode. What do you think about that?
You know, very strangely, that feud reminds me a lot of Laurel and Cara Maria. You want to talk about little sister, big sister? This is totally older sibling, younger sibling. Devin is trying to get under Banana's skin. He's trying to do all of the things that's going to piss him off because he's trying to get a reaction. He's trying to get someone to punch him in the face so that they can go home and not. He's really manipulating the situation. And even though he was doing the right thing in defending Michelle and that conversation that she had with Johnny, I do think it was mostly about, let me push Bananas and let me get him riled up to see how far I can push him, to see if like I can get a reaction that's gonna send him home. Let me rattle him so that his mind isn't too much in the game, you know. And that's me probably overthinking, but
no, that's fair. I actually had the complete opposite read on it, which makes it so interesting. I agree. There's been a little bit of a little brothering in the past between Johnny and Devin. Devin in past games was trying to make some noise. Let's get the vets in. Johnny sunned them a little bit, and they've had the feud. And similar to Laurel and Cara Maria, it did cross a couple of lines. I think Johnny was sorry about that. But tonight, Johnny seeing how Devin is, I won't go as far as saying running the game, but he's in a nice position. He's got his alliances. His team is winning. If they're not winning, they're usually safe. And Johnny doesn't like that. He's playing this kind of under the radar game, and he's going to try to chip away at it the way a rookie would, which is, let me go talk to the girl you're talking to, see if I can cause some trouble. But I think it's going to backfire on him. I think you're causing too much like noise right now that you don't really have to. I think he's trying to think too far ahead. Is like, is Devin running this game, and am I kind of in a bad position? So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know where it's going to take him. I don't know if it was the best thing to have that conversation, especially with Michelle, who seems to be at the center of a lot of the drama this season so far.
Yeah, I agree with you. What Bananas is questioning, it's how solid, not that Devin is running the game, but he's playing a solid game. There's a lot of people on his side. People do really like him. So even when he's not trying to quote unquote run it, it's happening organically because of the relationships that he has with everybody.
Devin has some nice numbers. Johnny came in thinking Michelle is one of his numbers and now sees her kind of gravitating to another man. In the game, when you have to choose between guys at a certain point with these targets and who's going to go down and things like that, he's seeing that's somebody that was initially, he was probably their number one guy outside of their era. It's being questioned. Was it a panic move? Was it a smart thing to start to chip away at that relationship? I don't know. Time will tell.
Excited to see what else this season brings us.
All right. Love the episode. We'll dive deep into it on this week's podcast. But yeah, thanks for joining on the Instant Reactions.
Let us know your thoughts. Comment below.